yeah. I'm in the chat room. Hello, everyone. Return of the Face. No. The Face Awakens. Episode 7. Face Awaken. It was me already. I did it. Yeah. Yeah. The heck? Hello, Instagram people. We are live at Rough Draft Conversations, twitch.tv. Watch us. Do it.
All right. Testing. Counts. Tweet. Video tweet. Hey, that's Mac.
Hello.
And I'm James. And we're doing Rough Draft Conversations. Come hang out.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello. Whoa. Hello, nice lady. Stupid.
All right. I got an alert notification here. Showing it. All right, great. All right, we're here. Chat. I think chat's working.
Hello.
Hey, you know what we're missing? We're missing Josh and Jackie.
I know.
They're like our regulars.
They're like our people.
All right, looks like chat's.
We started it almost soon. What's up, Josh? We were just talking about you.
Oh, is Josh in Twitch chat?
Yeah. we're just talking about your face. He's up tinkering. He got a new graphics card, so he switched to having only one computer. So we're basically resetting up everything. But
And it
looks spectacular. I look fat. I like when I was
It
blurry.
adds 10 pounds.
I like when I was blurry before.
I was more like, they were like, is he fat or is it just the camera's
just
bokeh?
the chair is partly big.
We're here. We're gonna have to work on this too because like I wore shorts because I keep thinking that like from here down is not visible. You know what I mean? And so it's like now I could be like nut shot. I'm not really gonna give him the nut shot. You know, like nut shot.
You're like the dude on Friends that keeps putting his nuts out with the shorts on.
Yeah, and they all like won't say anything or
They're
whatever.
like,
yeah. I'm that guy.
Is it drafty in here?
That's happened a couple of times for me personally. Not gonna lie.
Joey's like, put your hog back in its pit.
Well, so for me I was new to the concept of boxer shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wore like briefs and boxer briefs.
Yeah.
And I switched to actual boxers. And I remember trying to run a track match.
Oh, no.
In boxers.
Nope.
And so I ended up having to go commando because my boxers were hanging, because track shorts are only like this far down your leg, right?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
That's the worst.
You stop it. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I don't know what that's doing.
I looked right at that light bulb, and now I can't see. Cool.
So something I've always wondered about people that wear glasses is if you
It's
look at
torture.
a light bulb,
Mhm.
does it magnify it back into your eyes?
I don't. I mean, like I would say that the effect is stronger, but it's not like
Not like looking through a magnifying glass. At
no.
an
It's
ant?
just like it's just a little bit strong. And I would even argue it's
Kickstart. No, we're currently drinking the first half of the Breakfast of Champions, which is Red Bull.
right. We're drinking the yellow edition.
It's the tropical Red Bull.
Matt got me one on the way in.
It's my favorite.
It's good. I
Actually, you know, it's not my favorite.
What's
I
your
take that
favorite?
back.
Like going to the store, getting a canned energy.
If they still existed.
Oh, okay.
My favorite all-time energy drink is the Red Bull sugar-free lime.
I've never had that one.
Bro,
I would probably like that one.
it tastes like lime.
Yeah.
It
If it actually tastes like lime, then I'll really like it.
it actually tastes like lime.
Mm.
Like the Red Bull blueberry tastes like cough syrup. This one doesn't really taste super tropical. It still tastes like Red Bull.
Yeah. It
You
tastes like
know.
Red Bull with like a little something.
The sugar-free lime absolutely tastes like lime. And it was like sour. It was weird.
My absolute favorite I have not been able to find is Rip It.
Oh, yeah.
Had a purple flavored sugar free.
You can get them
purple
on
flavored.
Amazon by the
Yeah,
case.
see, that's what I need to do is just do that and then do that. But the thing is, dude, I'm not
OG
plugging at all.
Rockstar. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love my mango gamer subs. Like that's my absolute favorite because I love mango
Lime
flavor.
is gross. You're gross.
Dude, lime, dude, like, so you were talking about how, like, when I used to drink, how vodka Gimli was my drink.
Yeah.
Had I known about that, I would have been doing
Vodka
vodka
Red Bull
with
the
that,
lime.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lime Red Bull. Because that's like my favorite, dude. Lime
So my
and
wife
vodka is
likes the
great.
cranberry and watermelon ones for Red Bull, and Josh likes the OG Rockstar. I can't drink the OG Rockstar anymore
no.
because that's all they serve at sniper school.
Dude, OG Rockstar, isn't that the one that kind of tastes like cotton candy?
The
Or is
OG
that Monster?
Rockstar
That's
is
OG
like
Monster tastes like
yeah,
cotton candy.
the OG Rockstar is like pouring hydrochloric acid in your face.
Yeah, no, I'm good, dude. I'm good.
It's good for what you need it for. Like if you want to stay
Yeah,
awake, it's gonna
right.
keep you awake.
I actually liked original balls, like the cream soda balls.
You heard it here, folks. He likes balls.
in my mouth. I like balls, but my absolute favorite. So this just tells you how old I am.
Yeah.
When I was in college, Coca-Cola test marketed Full Throttle on my campus. So they
Okay.
actually had people stationed around the campus in Coca-Cola garb, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to check out Coca-Cola's new drink? It's an energy drink." And we were like, "What do you mean it's an energy drink?" He's like, "It's like Jolt."
They said our cam froze. I don't think it did. I think it's you.
Yeah, I'm not froze on my side. I mean,
Yeah,
on
I'm
3
looking
different
good.
sources, I'm not seeing frozen camera. Can you still hear us?
It's probably because we're at 10,000 bit rate.
Let me drop it.
We're running at 10,000 bit rate right now, so that if you're on a mobile device, you're pretty much fucked just to listen to us. Yeah. Because of all the compression that Twitch does anyway.
That's fine. It could have just been his, but it's fine. We went down to 6,000. Shouldn't.
Looks good on mobile to me. What's up, Nubs? And Jack.
Hey, Jackie. All right. So we have 3 topics that we definitely want to talk about today.
Right.
We want to talk about this mask mandate being lifted,
Yep.
hence the title.
16 states.
16 states. Surprisingly, Indiana not one of them, but it's because if we're going to talk local, Holcomb's a piece of
Well,
garbage.
and if we're talking Indiana, the state of Indiana says whatever Fed does, we'll do. Because they're fucking
because
they're
they don't
turds.
because they don't want any responsibility
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, dude, isn't that a dream job? You literally get a job
I'm
right?
going to make 70,000 or 80,000
Oh
a
no,
year.
mayor of Indiana probably makes
No,
170.
the least paid, right? Is 70,000 a year.
Oh, sure.
To
Right. Yeah, yeah.
to hand out memos to people that say we're just going to do what Fed does.
Right. But I'm saying like the governor of our state, right?
Oh yeah.
He's paid like $130,000 a year, right?
Probably more than that.
Yeah, and he goes, "Well, I'm just going to do whatever the federal government said." That's the best job ever.
Right. It'd be like being a manager at Walmart. I'm just going to do what the store manager says.
Right.
And then not do anything else.
And never make any decisions
Yeah,
and never do
ever.
anything. Right. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's fantastic.
what does the policy say?
Yeah, right, exactly. They're that.
What
that kind of
does current store policy say?
person.
Hello?
God. So yeah, so you have that, and then so we got to talk about the masks. Then we're going to talk. We have a really it's not like anything recent has triggered this, but just the idea of history is something that we wanted to talk about. We started talking about yesterday, and we're like, this is a good idea for tomorrow. And then what was the third one?
Because I mean, we're gonna have history books now that are like the president tweeted. God damn it!
That's going to be the worst.
It's not even gonna be books, so we'll talk about that later.
Right. Yeah.
Then we have the super straight community.
Yeah, the
topic.
super straight community that's coming up,
and the backlash from the LGBTQ community, which is just
correct. Right, and I mean, not to
all
make a
over
jab
the
here and
place.
sound like some kind of phobe.
Yeah,
or whatever,
it's
but
not.
it's no longer the LGBTQ. It's the LGBTQIA plus, right?
Sure.
So there's
It's the alphabet mafia.
It's going real hard.
It's the alphabet mafia.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
So we've got that to talk about too. Yeah. So I mean, has anybody had anything that they've seen that's just had them go like, "Oh wow, this is."
Something on
absolutely
that
crazy.
something on that super straight thing though is I had a lesbian friend of mine that I made on TikTok actually.
Uh-huh.
She has coined a new phrase.
Oh, no, wait, hold on. Is this the one that's the random?
No, this girl's name is literally La Dollar Bean.
No, I mean like what she calls the group. It's like, go ahead.
Oh yeah. The
random ordinary people doing ordinary shit.
Random or it's what the fuck?
Somehow your friend on TikTok made it over to me. So, because I saw it this morning, I was like, yeah. Yeah, because she even says like, I'm a lesbian.
Yeah, 100%.
In her video, right?
But under her tag, right? Where's under her tag, she actually has the phrase "gaytriot."
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
I can get behind that.
And she was like, I am a gay patriot. And I was like,
so I have a friend. I won't name her here. She secretly, in private conversations with me, has expressed that she hates the fact that within the gay community, she can't talk about how she liked Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, I can put aside issues that I feel are relevant to me to see the good. Now, once again, I'm not a pro-Trumper, and neither was she. Like, she wasn't like, I love Trump, right? What she was she was just like, I like how things were going while Trump was president, right? And so she couldn't even say that. But yeah, no, let's just go right into
I'm
that
trying
topic.
to find out what rap dress means again. Well, shit.
And I can't join the super straight party because
I'm gay.
well, I'm not straight.
Well, I'm not straight.
But may I suggest a new, all-inclusive, no bullshit movement and call it rap dress, RAPDRAS. Regular ass people doing regular ass shit.
Yeah, right? See, this is what I think I was talking to you on the phone this morning about it. I just want to like, so here's the evolution of me. And I think you said yours was similar.
Yeah.
When I was like 17, and I admit this to my gay friends, to my trans friends, I was like, listen, when I was 17, I was ignorant. I was a bigot. I was a homophobe.
Yep.
Like, I was the epitome of what they think most conservatives are now.
Yeah.
And I changed. Going to college, having gay friends, meeting my wife's aunt who is gay, like all of these experiences led me to being like, I really don't care. It was more, and it wasn't even like a shift of like towards being proactive. It was more like I just needed to settle down on my angst. Right? Shut up, Siri.
I didn't get that.
What about that made me say like, hey Siri? Because look,
Well-
I just said, oh no, now she listens. Fuck you.
I cannot do that.
So anyway, so having those experiences like led to me not being like that, right?
Right.
And so, but it was more like, why can't everybody just do their thing? And it
Right.
was more than that. The active side of it was more like, I don't really care what you do, right? Just don't push it into my face, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't identify, like when someone asks me like, describe yourself to me.
You're a hippie.
Like I don't, well, yeah, I am a hippie, but I don't go like I'm heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a part
that's
of
not
my
the
identity.
first. Yeah.
That's so far down my list. And I don't like that people feel like they have to do that. Like,
Right. Like
I'm
I
gay.
don't care.
okay, whatever.
I, don't,
mean,
I honestly don't care if you're
do
gay
you
or
hate
not.
sports as much as I do? Because if you do, we can be best friends.
I,
and, you know what
I
I'm saying?
hate
Like,
the institution of sports.
correct. Yes, sports are
The
fun.
actual sport is
NFL,
awesome.
MFL, MLB, NBA,
Yeah,
all that stuff. I
it's
can't stand that
garbage.
stuff. Right, I can't stand that. And so because it's not even really about competition at this point, right?
It's about
So-
who makes the most money.
and who has the most money
It's
to buy
not-
the best
and,
players.
And let's say the NFL, for instance, is not even about the sport. It's about Tom Brady.
well, right, yeah, until he retires.
They should call it like Tom Brady Football League. Like,
I wonder if the NFL is as afraid of him retiring
as
as
he is.
CNN was about Trump no longer being president.
Oh,
Because it's like their ratings are going to
bruh.
tank. Anyway, so what we're getting at though is that
Stop. Josh is a Cowboys fan. I'm kidding. He's not. He's a Packers fan.
we know he's a fan of Packers.
Yeah.
So
He's a Packers fan because they identify with him.
right. We know it's funny. It's funny is like the Packers I get behind and I understand the fan base because like everything about that stadium is like that community grown.
Yeah.
So like I get them. Like I understand that love of that. But like people in Indianapolis, I'm like, wow, they raised your taxes so that they could build a stadium for something I'm never gonna use.
Right.
Great. You know. So anyway, but
Yeah.
anyway, back to this whole super straight thing. It started as a meme. Like it wasn't real.
It kind of started as a meme, but it was like one guy trying to push back. Like, well, fine. Here we go. I'll be super straight. Which, and nobody's brought this up yet, so I'm going to bring it up because.
Oh, what, you're gonna define it for us? Or?
No. LGBTQI whatever plus is all these letters, right?
Yeah.
What are the initials for super straight? Yep.
Right. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Don't
and there's
get
people
a
like-
super straight tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. I got the. I saw that SS, and then I saw people getting shirts, and I was like, oh my god,
Uh-oh.
like,
I'm coming.
yeah. It was definitely one of those. 'cause
That
I-
was the first thing that popped into my head was like, this is the initials that you decided to go with.
So,
All right.
Hold on. So this is going to tie into like this huge thing. Okay. So do you know that there is a huge? I don't know if we can say it. I don't know if it'll get us instantly banned on YouTube or not.
What?
Blue Anon. Have you heard about Blue Anon?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Blue Anon is like the idea that like there's QAnon, which is like all these crazy conservatives that think of like child sex rings and all this other stuff.
Right.
And then there's the Blue Anon, which is the people that believe in the Russia. Donald Trump was a
Collusion.
Russian asset,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like it was this thing, right? Well, there was what was that convention that just happened? The Republican convention,
CPAC?
CPAC, right? And they looked at the stage, and I guess if you
Oh,
looked at the stage
yeah.
in a certain angle, it had a glyph that was something that the Nazis
It looks like a
used.
Nazi rune.
Right,
Yeah.
right. One of the glyphs or runes or whatever, right? But I don't think it was intentional. I think that they're just dumb and they had some graphic design guy who was like, check this out, man. It's two
Well,
triangle
it
pyramid
was-
shapes and a diamond.
What it was just a strategic placement for the stage.
Right, yes.
Right.
to
So they could
center it
sit
out.
people out.
Right,
You know, because they had two panels that sat there.
right,
So they had the panels in the middle and then a moderator sitting in the middle of it.
right.
It
Right.
makes sense.
Yes, right. In the brain, right.
Design wise.
So what I'm saying though is then they're like, oh my God, they're Nazis. So then Super
no.
Straight comes out. No, this is what they're saying. They're like, they're Nazis. But then Super Straight comes out and they use the letters SS and you go like, bro, like, is this, I'm telling you, it's a simulation. We live in a simulation and the guy at the board is like,
Watch this.
I'm going to mess with these people. And he just does stuff.
What happens if we do 4 black cats? Like,
Right? I don't. What? So anyway, so yeah, so they went with SS, and I was just like,
yeah. And then,
because they're just gonna label it as like white supremacy.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, why don't you go with like super hetero? Right? Why not just go with SH?
but then that's trying to silence people.
I know, dude. I'm telling you, you just can't win. It's insane. The language policing and all that. Anyway, but yeah. So basically, does anyone not know about Super Straight? Like, does anyone not know like
But you know who is on the Super Straight bandwagon though?
who's that?
Is Robert Frank.
I think, dude. By the way, I'm telling you, our phones are listening to us because I didn't follow that guy at all, and he's showing up in my thing now.
Yeah. I mean, they do listen to us.
100%. Because
Yeah.
like I didn't go find him.
But I
You know what I'm
also
saying?
follow him because I really like him.
Right. But what I'm saying is all of a sudden there's this dude, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this must be the guy that Mac was talking
Yeah.
about. Why all of a sudden did he show up after you
Yeah.
talked to me about him?
You need to get out there and you need to work your arms and you need to work your chest.
Yep.
And you
7
gotta
days a week.
eat a Trimbolone sandwich.
Eat boiled chicken and broccoli 7 days a week.
Right. You get in there. You pump the iron.
Yeah, he was like, I was
oh
like,
man,
that's-
he's
it's
intense.
very different from my TikTok.
He's not like that in person though.
No, he's just a character.
He's
dude.
he's
Okay,
playing a character.
dude.
So people got on the bandwagon with him because of his character.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But when he's actually talking and like doing public speaking and stuff, he's actually a motivational speaker.
Right. He's
Like
just
he's a
messing
good
around. Right,
he's
yeah,
just a solid guy.
right. I think it's funny how much people take TikTok at face value.
Well, he started out on Vine like
Right, sure.
a long time
I'm just
ago.
saying on TikTok, people take. I'm trying to give an example of like there was this video of a guy where he's like, I'm gonna make something up. It's like a situation where like he tells his wife that he loves another woman or something like that,
Oh,
but he
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
think she's listening, and then like the wife comes in, she's like, "What did you just say?" It's all acting. Like people.
I don't like your
it's-
mom's meatloaf.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck did you
Yeah.
just
Right.
say?
Yeah. Like that's all acting, right?
Right.
It's not like they're actually having these experiences, but they're so well acted that you think that they're, those experiences. That's
Yeah.
my biggest issue with TikTok overall is I can tell that a lot of it is
Right.
very
So-
staged, but well staged.
So, but
say?
also on that is like there are some people who honestly don't know what the super straight movement is,
Well,
right?
but what it is now.
So what it is now. So it started originally as just like a joke, as a meme, and then it weirdly became this like internet movement, and it is, well, I don't have or have ever had any feelings sexually toward the same sex. So I'm super straight.
Right.
You're
That's how it
just
started.
fucking, you're just straight.
Right, yes. Well, but then that guy made that video that was like some men want to be able to have sex
Oh,
with other
my
men
God.
and still be straight. And it's like, no, that
That's-
would make you bi or
Yeah.
gay, one of the two,
So it
depending
was like
on
to
what you
combat
do.
that.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So it's like people
'Cause-
make an outlandish
Because the
statement.
actual quote was, men can have sex with men. It's not a gay thing. It's a guy thing. No,
Right.
no.
No.
I've been friends with James for like 2 years. I've never wanted to fuck you.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right. I don't like that's a very it's just such a weird like okay. Rewind.
It's not how that works.
Right. Like rewind, let's say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
If you've met a person,
Yeah.
and or a woman,
Yeah.
and they said, I like to have sex with both men
You're bisexual.
and women.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're bisexual. Easy.
10 years ago, let's look at comedy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Joe Rogan said, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Rogan. He said, you can be a girl and have sex with a girl and you're bi. As soon as you put a dick in your mouth as a dude, you're gay.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's like this line, right? Yeah. So it's kind of one of those. But anyway, so sexuality, in my opinion, it's like they want it to be complicated for no reason.
Right.
Like, and once again, it circles back to this whole like thing of identity. If you have zero preference of whether the person was biologically male or female,
Right.
or what they look like now, and you just like being with that person and you want to have sex with that person,
Go for it.
go for it. But you're still bisexual. Like
Right.
to me, like the maximum level of sexuality differences was bisexual,
Yeah.
meaning that you would have sex with basically anyone.
Yeah.
That's what it meant,
Yeah.
because there were only two genders at that time. But now there's like
Apache
we need to-
helicopter.
we need to pull out the actual spectrum, dude. When you actually look at like what they consider in the LGBTQ like
IA
group, like
plus, yeah,
community
yeah.
laws, if you want to call them that, the list is literally like in like 2-point font is like this long. It's insane. how many-
Speaking of, did you see the video the 14-year-old boy put out that he's getting like super flamed over? He's like, LGBTQ plus, is that like an advanced or prime membership to the gay community?
Yeah. I could see someone getting some fire for that one.
Dude, he's 14
Right.
and he's gay.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah. See, dude, that's the other thing. It's like, so he, I mean, this is gonna divulge off to another topic because I think we all get it. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's
The idea that
absolutely
super
ridiculous.
straight exists is ridiculous. The idea that you have to sit there and define sexuality, and then you're going to tell someone else that they can't define their sexuality.
And see, that's
is
where I really
also
have
really
an issue
crazy.
with things,
Right.
right? Is like LGBTQIA plus whatever, the alphabet mafia has been saying, we don't get any recognition, we're being oppressed, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as a group, even not a group that we created, so the cis white male or cis white
Right.
female, whatever, as soon as you start saying, yeah, I'm straight, they're like, well, you're a homophobe then. No, I just don't want to put my penis in another dude's butthole.
Right. Yep.
Like that's
Right.
not, I don't like
Like looking at a man naked.
you can be
it don't move.
attractive.
It don't move. That's,
Right.
You know,
Like
that used to
you're-
be the joke.
You're an attractive guy, but I don't find you
Right,
sexually
like,
attractive.
You don't get charged, right?
Yeah,
like
no,
you don't.
there's
like,
nothing
right.
there.
And I do you ever did you ever do that to your buddies? We used to do like when we were in the theater, lights would go down, put your hand on your buddy's leg, and you go, if it moves, you're gay. Right? It was a joke. Chat.
It was a joke,
calm
yeah.
down. But like, so it was like this thing that guys.
I mean,
would
there
do.
used to be a literal game, like a literal game among guy friends, gay chicken.
Right, yeah, gay chicken, right, yeah. Which some would argue was like repressed homosexuality, yada yada yada.
Right,
It was
it's
just
not.
guys,
It's
just
just
guys
goofing
being
off.
guys,
Yeah.
man. So anyway, and once again, because we're just goofing off, it's not a sexual thing. Like to
Yeah.
me, my relationship with my wife is compartmentalized.
Right.
When I go to talk to my wife about finances, I don't get a boner. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, the
But now, if you're an accountant, do you get a bonus?
yeah. Right. Yeah. But you guys see what I'm saying? Like your
What's
conversation.
your sexuality,
the
accountant?
Setting, yeah, I'm an accountant sexual. What would you call it? Like I'm a debit and credit sexual because they work in debits and credits. So what I'm getting at is that like
Finance sexual. Finance
finance
sexual.
sexual. Finance.
Finance
Would
sexual.
you like some finance section?
Finance sexual?
Finance sexing? So my point is that it's like it's just so weird. But when you have a relationship with someone, even someone you have sex with,
Right.
not everything you do with that
Is
person
sex.
is sexual.
Yeah.
There's other elements to relationships.
Right.
And so
Like fighting over what you're going to have for dinner,
Dinner
because
or
she
what's-
doesn't know.
right. And
I
you
don't know because she doesn't know.
Right. And every time I make a recommendation,
She
shoots
doesn't
down,
want it.
And every time she makes one, I don't want it. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like those are things that are real, and but it's a part of like the friendship side of the relationship.
Yeah.
So when two seemingly hetero males are doing something like having a game of, whatever,
Who's
going
gonna
to
move their hand first?
or gay chicken or whatever they called it. It's like, so I'm gonna anyway. So my point is that doesn't make it some kind of repressed thing.
Right.
It's just dudes busting chops.
It's
man.
like, they're-
Now, if you're like, me and my buddies have this game where we lay on top of each other naked. That's gay. You're like this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's gay. You can't.
unless it's below 30
Oh,
degrees
yeah, right, yeah.
and you're in the field,
Right,
then it's
right,
okay.
Right. So you know what I'm saying. So anyway, but yeah, and it's just so weird to have the tables turned
Yeah.
as a neutral observer.
As a straight person myself, we were told, hey, you have to be inclusive. You have to.
Right.
You have to. You don't get an option. if you aren't this way, you are a homophobe, right? Or a
Right.
transphobe or whatever else. And so then when straight people on the converse side of this are like, "Hey, I'm just straight." That's or the new super straight thing comes out, which
Right.
whatever. Then that same community who says you need to be inclusive, you need to acknowledge who we are as people, turns around and says things like to the creator of that meme video, they were threatening to come to his house, dox him, and find him,
Right. And burn his house
and
down.
burn his
right?
house down
Yep.
and kill his family.
Right.
Like, you can't have it both ways,
You mean the thing that stupid people did in the 50s to gay people?
right? Oh.
I wish I had the stream deck right now and I could do a zoom right in on my face.
Yeet.
So I could just be like, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't, that's one of those things that in the end, the way I've always looked at it, and this is part of my libertarian tendencies, is like, as long as they're not hurting you or someone
Just let
else,
them be.
let them be.
Yeah.
If they want to be, whatever they are, then
Unless
that's fine.
unless it's one of those people that's like, I like children. No,
Right. And
you're gonna
see,
get your
and
teeth
I-
smashed.
I don't necessarily believe in slippery slope, but slippery slope
exists.
exists. But when I say I don't believe in it, I don't believe it's as strong as people think it is.
Right.
But it does exist.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw this on. So just so everyone's aware, I just got a TikTok account. TikTok is consuming
Like
my life
a
right now.
week ago.
Yeah, and
got
it's
a TikTok.
consuming my life because what I like about it though is that I'm seeing like
It's short form content.
black conservatives.
Yeah.
I'm seeing gay people speaking out against a lot of the stuff that's happening in their community from their community, not
Yeah.
the other way around, not
Yeah.
towards their community. I'm seeing white people saying like, "Hey, white people, this is racist." Like there's things like the
Right.
conversations are going. I feel like it's actually really a healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it is a
environment in a way.
platform that can be extremely useful.
Right.
There's also a lot of garbage.
Oh
on
yeah,
there.
there's a lot of hot garbage. I mean, I'm
there's-
doing a lot of swiping, but like I followed my follower count on that. So okay, just another sidestep here.
Mr. Scrolling till the sun comes up. Hey, look. I'm not addicted. I just have to look at TikTok 24/7.
So this is what happened the first night I got TikTok. I made that video because I was on there and I was on my phone and I went into my bed at like 10:30. I was like, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. I'll watch a little TikTok and then I'm gonna go to bed. And then I literally looked at the clock and it was 3:45 in the morning. And I was like,
that's me and Josh with Valheim.
oh my God. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Valheim. Yeah. It just
No, for real.
no,
me
Valheim can
me and Josh stayed on till 3:45 in the morning.
yeah, you can literally just get lost in that game.
Building a base.
Base, right? Yeah. Right. No, I'm with you, dude. My wife loves playing that game. My wife, out of a $20 game, just as a side shout out to Valheim for those of you who haven't picked it up, for $20, you can get at least 300 hours of playtime out of that game
Easy.
in its current state, and it's not even close to ready to go. And I'm not talking about like 300 hours of crap. Like it's work. It's if you like survival. I will say that too. You have to enjoy
Yeah.
the survival games. But anyway, so.
Facts.
But TikTok, what I'm
And that's
liking
facts.
seeing is that it's changing. The conversation is like it's actually more open. So
Yeah.
like most social networks like Twitter and Facebook are like filing everything into columns now. So it's
Right.
like a bubble. But with TikTok, if something
It's
starts
just
popping,
there.
it's gonna show up on
Yeah.
your feed. And then it's gonna hopefully help bring stuff to light, right? Like bring conversations
But then
out
there's
that we need to have.
also, and what's really, I think, good about that platform is it also has like a entertainment value.
Yes.
Somewhat of a system. I don't know what it is. Like people found my FDL video incredibly entertaining. It has like 17,000 views right now.
That's awesome.
I literally shot a Nerf blaster at a cardboard box.
That's fun.
That's it.
Yeah, but like, you said something in it.
But then at the same time, a video that came out from one of my friends that's like at the similar time was like, hey, and it's like 15 seconds. He's like, hey, if you haven't done so today, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you.
Right. Yeah.
And then you have like Candace Owens is on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, this is what's going on right now that people aren't telling you. You have all of these things. And within the same 5 minutes, I would say, of posting, all of these things happened and they show up all together and you just get like a little bit of news, a little bit of ha-ha.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
love yourself. Hey.
It is literally our version of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Because the newspaper used to be like there was a funny section.
Yeah.
There was a this section. It was a thing you enjoyed opening. TikTok for me, same thing. Now I get a little bit of news. I get a little political opinion. I get a little bit of humor. I get a little bit, and it's fantastic. But the problem is,
You also
I
get a
can't
little bit of
stop.
racism.
Yes, you do. So, I mean, it is a. But the thing is that those people don't make it. Right?
Right.
If the message is good, so there was this one. Have you seen this whole the whole new thing right now is the game where you put up like your fingers and then you count down like if something.
It's new to you.
Huh?
It's new to you.
Yeah, it's new to me. Right. Yeah. Because I've only been on it for a week. But anyway, so this girl had one. She was like, "This is for white people only," and she's got her mom like sitting behind her eating or whatever, and she asked some question, and it doesn't even seem that racist, but she's like something like, "Do you like mayonnaise on your sandwiches?" And the mom's like, "I like mayonnaise on my sandwiches." She's like, "Mom!" Like it's so funny because she's trying to make it's actually commentary. If you look at the video, it's commentary on this whole like, oh, if you're white, you like mayonnaise, and if you're black, you can't like mayonnaise. Like there's like these
so
weird things that are just so far out there, but then it's like there's actually something being said that's deeper than just the humor of her
Right.
mom interrupting her in the video.
Right.
So, I mean, I like it. And TikTok has been, in my opinion, the best social network that's probably come out. The only thing is I still worry about the whole Chinese overlords and blah, 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 and all that conspiracy stuff. But I think that overall,
If
from
all
what I'm
else
getting out of
fails,
it, it's
if,
great.
if all else fails, run to the mountains and hide.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like at that point, that it becomes relevant or,
Right.
or evidence.
Grab your guns, grab your bows and arrows.
I'm
run.
gone. Right. Yeah.
That's-
So anyway, but yeah.
You hate mayo? How do you hate an inanimate object? I
Hmm.
dislike onions, but I don't hate
Oh,
them.
dude.
I can't. I don't mind the taste. It's the texture.
Yeah, that's
It's like- So I've had escargot before, right?
Oh, dude, escargot is so good.
Okay, I don't like the feel of a slug in my mouth.
Oh, see, I like the texture of escargot.
I do not.
But I like
The
most
taste.
textures.
The taste is pretty good.
Yeah, I think
If I could have like escargot without the slime, that'd be great.
I don't like the only thing I would say I don't like is actual grapefruit. Like I like grapefruit flavored things because they add sugar to it. But I
Oh,
think
yeah, yeah.
grapefruit itself is like the
Just add
most
sugar to it.
bitter, nasty. Right? Yeah, but then it's like, why am I doing that? I'll just eat an orange.
I was gonna say, then it's an orange.
So I'll
Then you're
just eat
eating
one.
a really big tangerine.
Right. So why wouldn't I just eat a tangerine?
I don't
Um,
hate ranch. I just am opposed to it existing.
I'm not a big fan of ranch either. My wife loves ranch.
Well, here's
I'm
what
not a big
ranch
fan of
is. Here's what ranch is.
It's
Clabbered milk with spices.
yeah, it's true.
That's.
Yeah.
I don't drink chunky milk.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Oh,
eat
dude.
ranch.
That reminds me of this time I came downstairs and the grocery. My mom had changed grocery stores and the cap on the milk was different.
Oh.
And I drank buttermilk, which is basically like liquid sour cream, like right out of the jug, and was like, it's gross. Anyway,
I like buttermilk.
oh, it's gross, dude. It's like literally
Buttermilk.
drinking.
You take cornbread and you soak it in buttermilk and then you eat it out of a glass.
I
with a
could
spoon.
probably do that because corn would have a little bit of sweetness to it. Like the cornbread would
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
enough sweetness to counter it out, but it's just anyway. But yeah, so long story short, Super Straight exists and LGBTQ community hates it.
And LGBTQ exists and super straight community doesn't care.
Right. I mean, that's the other thing too, right?
Right.
And by the way, it went further. We actually didn't define it. So super straight now in the form that it is, the big question that they believe polarizes something and it makes you transphobic if you answer a certain way is if you are a man or a woman and a person that was born as the sex that you are, and then they have a sex change and you're heterosexual, would you be with that person? And if you say no, you're transphobic. There's no limit, right? So like the whole concept would be like, if a guy changes to a woman and then comes to me
Right.
and says, hey,
So-
I want to be with you, I'd be like,
According to Urban Dictionary,
well, I thought they took it out.
no, a sexuality in which represents straight people who will only have a partner in which were born of the opposite sex / gender instead of having a partner who has transitioned.
Right.
Right.
So
So more
pretty
scientific
basic.
term.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic and like what I would have considered pretty Like,
Normal.
duh. Like,
Right.
duh. And so my whole thing is just to kind of give a little bit of justification to it. If, like, as a man, I never sought like one night stands. Like, I never sought that kind of relationship. The
You're
relationships that I saw after were I wanted a companion, right? And so, and with the intent, okay, when I was a teenager, it's a little different. You know what I'm talking about? I'm saying, like, as an adult man,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So as an adult man, when I was after relationships, I was looking for someone I could get married to,
Yeah.
start a family with.
Yeah.
And by start a family with, I mean
Have kids.
have biological children.
Yes.
Right? And so if a man were to transition to a woman and I could find her as beautiful as can be, if
Him.
she cannot bear children for me,
Is it him?
I would not, well, I still respect them and their pronouns, right? So she,
I respect their chromosomes.
right, okay, well, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, I would say, I'm sorry, like, this relationship can't go forward
Right.
because
And it's nothing against the person,
no,
right?
not at all.
It's just like that's not your goal.
So this is another thing on TikTok. There's this guy who went on a date and she
Yeah.
kind of catfished him because her picture was like super slimming. And then
Oh,
when he
yeah,
met
yeah.
her in person, she was extremely fat
Yeah.
to him. And he was like, halfway through the date, he was just like, look, like, I tried to see if there was some kind of other connection with
Yeah.
us. He was like, but I don't find you attractive because you're way bigger than your pictures
Right.
looked like. And she goes nuts and says that this guy's rude. And I'm like,
I feel like just saying that he was being polite.
yeah, he was being polite and like letting her know, like, I don't
Yeah.
want this to go anywhere, right? Like, I don't. Did you imagine how awkward that was for him to actually even feel like, man, she's way fat? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could expect a little bit of cushion, you know, like, 'cause it's
Right.
different. But
Like
then,
you maybe
she comes in-
gained 5 or 10
right,
pounds.
5 or 10 pounds or something. But like when she's like literally like 70 pounds above what her pictures made her look like, right? You know, that's kind of
Yeah.
for him,
It's
right?
like taking a picture of Jonah Jameson when you look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so like, so, you know, what I'm getting at is that guy, he didn't hate her.
No.
She didn't meet
And
what
he-
he wanted. He found that picture attractive.
and
not this.
realistically, he didn't lead her on.
Right. It was a first date.
He was true to himself.
Yeah, I respect the guy.
I
personally.
respect him 100% for that.
And I respect anyone who says that to a person who was born as the
Right.
same biological sex as them. If
Yeah.
that is something you don't want, good for you for one, being open and honest, and two,
Yeah.
now, but
And you
it's
know,
all
on
about
the same
how.
hand, even with a man and a woman, right?
Yep.
You're haven't talked about having kids yet,
Right.
but there is the possibility to have kids if that person decides they don't want to have kids,
Right.
not continuing that relationship. Because
Totally
your goals,
okay.
because
Right.
your goals are different,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So-
Usually that's why that should be stuff that you hash out really early,
Right.
right, in a relationship.
Well,
I mean, I'm not saying first date be like, hey, you want to have kids? But
right.
if you
But within like the first 2 weeks, probably.
right, yes, like in
Like,
2 weeks.
what
that
are
should
your
probably
goals
come
for
up.
life?
Right. What do you want out of a relationship?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you just want to be together? Do you never want to get married?
Right.
Like there's so many things that you should find out about a person. And one of those things for me, if you don't communicate that. So as a person who has transitioned, if you
Yeah.
don't communicate that you were born as
Yeah, that's
to me, that's what I'm saying is you're getting into an area where I can flip this table real quick.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I can flip this script real quick and say, like, if you aren't presenting that information to a person very blatantly and upfront,
that's almost, in my opinion, the same as being like not telling somebody you have herpes.
yes, it's definitely in the same realm.
It's
I'm not saying it is a sexually transmitted disease.
No.
But it's there's something
It's-
I want you. That's
It's an informatics thing that you have to know.
I have to know, right? I want to know. And
Right.
so anyway, like I said, I think we've kicked this dead horse to the ground. Basically, just mind your own damn business. It's
Right.
that easy. It's
Right.
honestly, that statement could go to everything
Yeah.
we're going to talk about today.
There's actually a thing going around on TikTok.
On
right now,
TikTok.
of like
Not a sponsor.
reasons why I learned to mind my own business.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
There's some bad ones.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
There's some real bad ones. Like, dude got shot.
yeah. So
Got shot
shot, right.
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
Like, boop, almost killed him
Right.
because he was going over to ask a person, a not so great person, what he did for a living.
Oh, is this the guy that was like, oh, not
Different
the guy,
guy.
not
He
the
was-
car guy?
Not the car guy.
Okay, okay,
Different guy.
okay.
He was like a salesperson, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
And he's like walking over, like, "Hey, man, what do you do for a living?" Guy's like, "It ain't none of your business." Bang.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
clearly he doesn't do something good for a living.
Right. Yeah. I think we can imply that. Yeah.
He's a
So-
gangster. He's got
Right,
it.
yeah. So but yeah. So like, what I'm saying is, when
But even something as simple as that, like, learn to mind your business.
right, you can also read people's body language. You can
Yeah.
tell if someone's open to conversation.
If a dude is standing like this in
yeah,
the
and
corner,
he's got-
don't
he's-
walk
he's
up
got
to
his
that
head
guy.
down, and when he looks at you, he looks at you like this, like.
I got a story about this. I'm in Walmart.
Hmm?
What do people who don't like people do in Walmart? Put in headphones and shop.
Oh yeah. I think I saw you about.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So I didn't put the whole story out there
Okay.
because I don't really care to.
Right.
So I've got my headphones in and I'm shopping. I'm doing my thing, and I walk past the AT&T guy.
Cheers. They're worse than furniture sales.
So I get what I need, and I'm coming back. Still got my headphones in. I'm pretty sure people on Mars can hear my music as loud as I play it.
Oh right. Yeah. You play it, letting people know, like, I can't
I
hear you.
do not want you to fuck
Right.
with me.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
He taps me, like, as I'm walking by, on the shoulder. And I'm like, headphones out. If you touch me again, I'll kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't touch people.
yeah.
It's not that's
you
not
don't-
acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable.
I
I
was
don't
like,
care.
I
who
don't
you are.
come into where you're at and touch you.
Right.
And I was like, so even if you were going to try and get my business, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I just walked off, put my headphones back in. Like,
I don't get it. Like, that's a whole different topic we could talk about, is those types of salespeople. But once
Bruh.
again, it's just be respectful of bubbles
yeah.
and of people.
Like, I can
you've
disagree-
given all the signs. Don't talk to me.
Right. I'm walking
Don't talk to me.
fast. I've got one item in my cart that I literally walked across the store for
Right. Yeah.
to come back to the other side of the store.
Right.
Before I did any other
Yep.
shopping.
I have
Loud headphones, hat down like this, right?
Uh-huh.
Mask up, like
You
even
can
up
only
under.
see this part of you.
You can see like
Yeah.
that's it. And I fucking
You can ask my wife. I am at the point when I see those people. By the time I'm within 12 feet of them, I just go, no. Literally, I'll just say no.
Yep.
And then they go, okay, I'm not gonna talk to that dude because he ain't gonna. No, I mean,
I do that in the mall.
Yeah, like the mall. Oh my god,
The,
dude, those
the dudes at
kiosk
the mall.
people.
Can we get out of my face?
Yeah. You know, next time you're in there and one of the guys does the whole like, I'm gonna clean your shoe. Take both of your shoes and sit them down in front of them. Be like, all right, I'll be back, and just walk around the mall with your feet, like over your socks. Be like, cool, and then come back and get your shoes. And be like, thanks, man. Thanks for cleaning my shoes, dude. I'm serious. Like, why not? He offered. Let
Yeah.
me clean your shoes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the next thing we have is so we have, what do we want to talk about? You want to talk about history, or do you want to talk about mask mandate? Because I don't know a whole lot about what states and what's happening.
So I actually have a list. Let's
Okay.
talk about the mask
All right, let's talk about the mask.
because it's something that will lead into the history topic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, anything we talk about is going to lead into history because this is
But this is really going to lead
We
into the
live
history topic.
we live in
Because
a
something was said
weird
before
world.
this mask mandate was lifted that has never been done before. In to my knowledge, ever been done before.
okay,
So the states that have lifted their mask mandate
okay,
are Alaska, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Texas.
okay. So I'm trying to look at a map, and if you were to say like there's a map, it would be almost like
All the red
your
states.
hand would cover, but it would cover.
A lot.
It wouldn't cover Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, but it would cover No, not even Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So it's just the Carolina, South Carolina,
Yep.
and then the middle of the country,
Yeah.
like the Midwest
And Texas.
and Texas. Well, they're Midwest South.
I just count
Right.
Texas as its own
Right,
entity.
It's its own thing, right?
Because
yeah.
if you live in a state where you can drive 11 hours and still be in the state
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a whole different climate, You're a country.
Yeah, you're a country, right? Yeah. So, but basically, like when you look at the political graph, it's the middle of America. It's middle America.
Yeah.
I don't. I have to be careful in how I phrase this because I don't necessarily have a problem with the government recommending something like,
Right.
hey, I think you should wear a mask. And if a business, hey, businesses, if you guys want to like really operate at an optimal rate, you should
Yeah.
probably have some kind of a mask situation in place so that people can feel safe going into your store.
Right.
As a recommendation, where I have a problem is when it was like actually mandated and like they were giving people fines and they were doing stuff like that.
Well, I mean, as a
Because-
bartender right now in the
Right.
state of Indiana, if somebody is out of their chair and aren't wearing a mask, it's a $15,000 fine for the business.
Right, which is crazy because that's an individual, and like this is what I'm saying is it gets
Right,
really
it's
convoluted
really
really quickly
weird.
because I believe in individuals' rights, and so like, but the problem is that there was. I'm not going to argue the science. 'Cause I know there's going to be someone in chat that's going to want to argue the science. There were indications from the people that are at the top of these organizations saying that wearing a mask, if both parties are wearing a mask, it does decrease the spread of the virus. And the original reason
If you're
that-
wearing an N95 mask,
right. So
let's be very specific.
right,
there.
yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
and the reason that they originally said not to wear masks was because they didn't want people to buy them all up and then them not to have any for hospital workers. So like, there's all these. But anyway, regardless, I don't think that the government should have the power to punish you because there is nothing in our laws that says that that the government could do that stuff. So I can't wait to see the laundry list of Supreme Court rulings
Right.
on all of the stuff that's going to come out of this. Like all these businesses, they're going to take it all the way up to the Supreme Court. You shouldn't do the mandate. If you want to put people at risk and knowingly put people at risk, like, if you know
Right.
you have the virus, something like that, I think you're a dick, right? And if you infect someone and then they can trace it back to you and you went out without a mask, without doing all this stuff.
Realistically, that already has a definition in the United States, right?
Right.
That's domestic terrorism. Because
Right, you're spreading a biological weapon.
Because, for instance, right, if you have AIDS and you walk onto a city bus and you ejaculate all over the bus,
Right, yeah, right.
you have
I love how
now,
you go with that instead of like taking some
because
of your
that's an
blood.
actual case that has happened.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes, the
Okay.
dude got the death
Oh my
penalty.
God, do I remember this?
Yeah, the dude got the death penalty.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
dude, he had AIDS
Right, and he went and spread
and
AIDS, right, yeah.
jacked off on a bus.
There was a guy here in Indiana that was a serial, he had AIDS, and he was targeting women and getting with them
That's crazy.
to give them AIDS.
Yeah,
Like he was trying to give all these women AIDS.
That's
and it was like,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
But so he got
Hey, remember that thing we were talking about?
what thing?
Where you should communicate those things with people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You have to, right? And if you don't,
It's really important.
you can actually be labeled as a domestic terrorist.
One could argue that you could traumatize a person if they find out that they had sex with someone
Yeah,
who...
that's a whole different version of PTSD.
Yeah. So anyway, continuing.
So he
So-
got the death penalty for that.
Right, okay.
So the coronavirus, because there's far more cases of corona or
Mm-hmm.
COVID or the flu or, I don't know, every virus than there are AIDS.
Right,
Right. AIDS is just absolutely going to kill you.
right.
1% chance you're
Right.
going to die from corona.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So if that in its small form factor can be considered domestic terrorists,
Right.
spreading knowingly a viral infection
Right. It's yeah.
is the same thing. It's
So-
a biochemical weapon at that point.
But once again, we have to talk about like its intent, and that's the hardest part of law is understanding intent. And like, was your intent to go in
Right.
and infect people, or were you just like, I'm not wearing a
But
mask
that's
because I don't believe
where-
in it, blah blah blah.
That's
and yada,
where
yada.
labeling something as terrorism
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily go off of intent. Right?
Right. But don't you think that that's
Because if you knowingly have a virus,
right?
or like, I don't know, a little
Oh,
kid,
yeah. But knowing and then doing anything at that point does make it terrorism.
Right.
Right. But if you don't know you have it,
right?
and you don't
that's
wear a mask,
complete different,
right? That's what I'm saying. So the intent is knowing that you had it and not caring and continuing to
Right.
put people at risk, right? So that's the intent. The intent is I don't care about their health. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it,
Right.
even if it gives a bunch of people a virus that has,
Right.
1% death rate.
So like, I don't like wearing a mask.
I don't either. We
And
talked
on-
about this
And on
countless times.
Sundays, I have to wear a mask like 14 hours a day
Yeah, it sucks.
because
I went to Disney
it sucks balls.
and wore a mask
But
for 12 hours a day in 90 something degree humid weather. Sucked. But you know what?
but
But
it is required currently in our state,
right.
and I'm not going to cost my business that I work for, the entity that I work for, $15,000 because I just want to be a douche.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Like,
So it's like it's just one of those things like but once again, I don't even think the government holds that power. That's an insane thing to like impress a dress code, if you will.
she's talking about the nail bar, by the way.
What?
The nail bar. You can get a manicure and order wine and beer at the bar. Read like 4 comments up.
I'm not getting all of chat.
Oh.
I'm talking to my wife who said she wants a full plague mask mask.
Yeah, so you're way behind. So she said that.
And then I have that, and then the next thing I have is Jack saying a nail bar nos.
Yeah, so there's a whole conversation
Well,
in between there.
Yeah, on mine there's not. It's literally that's the most recent comment I had. Look.
There's a whole conversation between there.
That's not on mine. It literally the 4 lines up on my chat is like that. Anyway, so maybe I'll refresh. Hey,
Maybe
what's up,
just-
Angel? But anyway, so they've done this mandate thing.
Yeah.
What else are they doing? Is it just masks? Do
So
they still do social distancing? Are they still so it's just like we're going back to
all
normal.
16 of those states have came out and said, this is what we're doing. Take off your masks. Business is open 100%. We're going back to normal. We're tired of waiting for big government and big pharma to try and push this stuff
Sure,
out.
right, yeah, okay.
To the point where, and this is where I'm going with something has never happened in history before, is the governor of Florida on the phone with Dr. Fauci and Joe Biden.
Okay.
Recorded conversation.
Okay.
He asked them, he specifically, poignantly asked Dr. Fauci, or not poignantly, pointedly asked
Yep.
him, so Dr. Fauci, how much are you making off of COVID?
Okay. Yeah.
Like straight up asked him, like,
Right.
There's
Like,
the
what's
question.
What's your money? Right.
and then Joe starts to, Crazy Joe, Child Sniffer Joe, decides he wants to jump in on this conversation. Brr, brr. And he starts to go off on the governor of Florida. The governor of Florida says, look, Joe, I'm talking to Dr. Fauci. Calls him Joe, just like that. I'm talking to Dr. Fauci because I already know you've made a bunch of money off of this. Joe Biden starts to step in and says, you will address me as Mr.
I thought we
President.
talked about this last week.
We did not.
Yeah, we did.
Not really, though.
Right. Okay. So you're giving the full details.
Like the
Okay,
full
good. Okay.
details. So he says, you're going to address me as Mr. President or President Biden. And the governor of Florida says, no, I'm not. You can go fuck yourself. And then a week later,
Right.
all of these states are opened. That's never happened in that form
Oh, right. Sure. Right.
in
yeah,
history.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like there have been bills and things that have come out in states and like,
Right.
thank you, Mr. President.
Right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
never like somebody just saying, hey,
Right. And then states. And I guess in the end, what it comes down to again, see the problem is everybody wants to have these conversations about like your like civil responsibility.
Right.
There's a big difference and 2 different conversations to have between your civic responsibility
Yes.
as a person and your rights based on the Constitution and law in the United States.
yes,
So if you are unknowing, or as long as you don't know that you're infected,
right,
you can be ignorant to the fact that you are or not have it, either one,
right,
and you want to live your life, I don't understand how we even have this as a conversation. I was saying this back when it first started. I was like, look, if someone wants to risk going out and get sick, we're going to take precautions as a household. We've got kids. My
Yep.
parents are older. We're going to take precautions. We're not going to go to the limits that everybody else is going to,
right.
but we're going to go to the limits, right? And then, like I said, my wife and I we would go to restaurants and give, this isn't me like humble bragging. This is just saying like
Right.
one of our favorite restaurants, they had to lay off a majority of their staff in order to stay afloat.
Right.
But the staff was volunteering. So when we go, we give big tips and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff because we want to give those people who are getting screwed by these shutdowns.
I mean, even me coming back in December, right?
Yeah.
To being a bartender. There are regulars that come back to the bar. They're like, look, we know we're not really supposed to be out because the virus.
Yep.
But we're coming out to make sure that this bar at least attempts to stay open because it's
Right.
our favorite place to be.
Right. And I mean, so what I'm saying is like when you look at the overall, I don't think it matters what we would have done as a country
Yeah.
and how we would have went about it
Nope.
because no matter what we would have done, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
You got clairvoyant vision when you're looking at the past, what you could have done differently.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Right. But with this one, I don't even know if you can because you don't know because the cases, the places that just went full blown, like they didn't do any shutdowns. I'm talking about countries, right? Like countries as a policy. They, at the beginning, they weren't having problems. And everybody was like, ho, 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 see, not shutting down.
Yep.
They were fine. But then like 3 months into it, their rates of coronavirus just went like flip-flop with everybody else. And they just got like this huge surge of
Yeah.
COVID cases. So like there wasn't really a right way of going about it. What frustrates me is that the people in power
Yeah.
were definitely using it for financial gain. No
Yes,
matter who
absolutely.
you're talking about,
Yeah.
including Trump, including all of them. They were all like, we can make something out of this, you know?
There was
And
nobody.
there's-
There was nobody on the upper echelon of that wasn't making money.
Right.
off of
And
it.
I mean, all the senators and there's a lot of Republican senators and a lot of Democratic senators who like sold off all their stock because they knew that legislation and stuff was going to come down the pipe that was going to
Yeah.
shut down these businesses. And so they sell when these stocks are at their peaks because our economy was at the biggest boom it had seen in forever. And then they're like, oh, cool, we're at the
Oh,
peak.
say
and
that
then it
again?
drops.
Say
Yeah,
that again?
I know. It was at its biggest boom ever. But once again, that's that stock market is the barometer. There's a lot of other barometers in that you could argue were not necessarily
Like
good because
unemployment rates.
unemployment rates
that
were at record
great.
lows, but unemployment rates don't include people who are off of unemployment. So there's a lot of stuff that when people talk about that, so like if you say like unemployment rates at its lowest it's ever been, but if 3% of the people can't get unemployment anymore because they've exhausted all their unemployment benefits by
Yeah.
the state or whatever, they don't get counted in that number anymore. So there's stuff like that. But anyway, off track. What I'm getting at is then they sell off, and then all of a sudden the economy just tanks. Stock market plunges. I looked at my 401k from my previous employers, and my 401k was at half of its value at its lowest. So like where
Wow.
it was, and in 2 months it went to half of its value. I actually lost 50% of the money I put into my 401k, and now it's back up to where it was. So what they did is they sold off here, bought back here,
Yep.
knowing that they're going to do stuff that makes it go back up.
Yep.
And it's like insider trading
Yeah.
in a way, right? And so like these people, they were making tons of money off of us while
Yeah.
we were all suffering. And then they do a 1.9 trillion stimulus plan that only gives each household $1,400 when if you took every single individual in the United States and you divided the 1.9 trillion across us, we would each get $6,000. But then if you actually look at the actual cost of taxpayer money, it's ending up being about $5,400 per person in the United States. So really, you're not gaining anything as a ecosystem, right?
And we spent what, like 200 billion
on.
to Pakistan.
Oh, right. Yeah. And that's their stuff too, man. It's like all that stuff. It's just, it's so dumb. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of stimulus. I'm going to use it, right? And I'm going to give one piece of advice. This is not like I'm a financial advisor, but my opinion is that the moment you get that stimulus money, you need to immediately put it into something. Bitcoin, stocks, what was I going to say? Stocks, what was the third thing that? Long story short, you want to invest that cash because the value of that, or purchase something. Even if you want something, purchase it because the level of the inflation of our cash is about to spike at such a rate that I don't think anyone is prepared to see. So you might as well spend it now while it holds more value because it's going to lose about, I'm expecting 30% loss of
At
value
least.
within the next 12 months of
Yeah.
the American dollar. So like it's better now to just go ahead and do that because I think that we're about to head towards some really crazy stuff. So like for us, I'm going to put it into a kitchen remodel even though I can't afford it because it's worth way more now because that kitchen model is going to cost 2 to 3 times what it is now in I think in less than a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think the value. I've been telling people, we were at the barber shop and I was talking to all the guys. And I said, does anyone else feel like when you're in the grocery store, you're spending a shitload more money
I
than
don't.
But see, I pay attention very closely, and we
Yeah, I
buy
do too.
relatively the same groceries. It's almost went up $20 every 3 months, and I'm buying the same stuff. I'm not buying anything crazy. But
See,
my
we buy the
grocery
same
bill-
thing, and our grocery bill's the same.
Yeah,
all the
see, our
time.
grocery bill has gone through the roof. It's
Yeah.
insane. Like, so average time I go to the grocery store for like 4 or 5 days of groceries for the family, it's like $70. Now it's about 130.
Oh, see,
we-
we've always spent 150 for
Right.
like. a
So
week.
yeah, it's going up rapidly for us at least. And
Yeah,
but everyone else in the room was saying the same thing. They're like, yeah. And then like even little things like there's a smoothie shop right down the street.
Yeah.
It's $10 for a smoothie. For a smoothie. It's
Well, I mean,
fruit liquefied.
I
You see what I'm saying?
actually noticed it when because I do a lot of like DIY projects and
Right.
and home
Yep.
improvement stuff, and just things.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I mean, you called me because you were
And
saying the
so-
price of lumber is up.
Dude, the price of a 2x4.
Yes, it's exponentially higher than it was a
They-
year ago.
So a year ago, you could get a 2x4 for $2.76
Yeah.
for unfinished lumber,
Right. You're talking about like
raw like framing
just
lumber.
2x4 of lumber, right?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no rounded corners.
No rounded corners.
Yep.
It's just framing.
Right.
It's wood.
Wood. Yeah. Wood that's
Woohoo.
slightly finished,
Woohoo
right?
tree.
It's finished down to 2x4, but
Yeah.
it's not smoothed out. It's
Right.
rough.
It's not
right.
finished lumber.
Right.
Right. So now that same piece of lumber for a 2x4, and this is an 8-foot section.
Right.
It's not a 12-foot section.
2x4x8. Right.
2x4x8. It's now $7
Right. For a piece of wood.
for
Right.
a tree.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that because I don't think that. I mean, I think most of the people that are probably in here right now that we know that difference, but I don't think people know that you can actually go into a store and there's 3 to 5 options for a 2x4 at an
Right.
8-foot length. Like you've got treated, untreated, refaced, finished, and then there's a grading. Like you can get really granular, like at Menards.
And then you can
see,
get fine grade finishes.
right, yeah,
And,
like you can have
and
grade A,
colored.
B, C. I mean, it's insane, like how diverse the wood that's right behind these bricks can be.
Yeah.
Buy your cheapest. But like what he's saying is like the most basic wood, like
Yeah.
to frame out this wall would cost like $30, now costs $100 because it's
Easily.
literally easily. And that's just insane because then that affects everything because it's all trickle, man. So that wood,
Yeah.
when they build a new building, you want to build a new house, well the price of your house, the raw materials for just the wood has gone up the other way around, has went up 200%.
Yeah.
And so now your cost to build your house, they're not gonna just like give that to you. The price of the house is gonna go up 20 grand, 30
Yep.
grand
Yeah.
just to build a house. And so that's just it. But anyway, we're way off from the mask mandate. Long story short, mask mandate is going away in some states.
I think it's a good thing.
and I think it's a good thing. I think that
Return of
return of the face.
return of the face.
I
You can smile at people again.
a dude. My wife, there is a restaurant right now. She went to go get a smoothie.
Yeah.
They don't require a mask to enter. Their business, but they're not Marion County. Marion County is the only
Oh,
county in
yeah,
our
yeah.
state that
So
has that mandate.
that's something that has been happening with the mask mandate, right?
right.
Is I live on the I work, on the very cusp of the northern part
Right.
of Marion County.
Right. One
So
street,
Marion-
one way. You're
Marion County is mask mandated, no karaoke, none of this. We just now and they can say it's not all they want to. They're a bunch of liars, absolute liars. They just opened back up to 50%, and because bars are at 25%.
that sounds like a blast,
Of
man. You know what I want to
capacity.
do when I go to a bar is sit by myself.
I mean, that's what people do when
Some
they come to
people-
buy.
I mean, I
bars.
don't.
Yeah.
I would want to go to a bar to talk to people.
Yeah.
you know.
So we were at 25%. We opened back up to 50%. We were closing at midnight. Now we've got 2 a.m.
Okay.
What's happening right now, as of March 1st, that would cause that?
Oh, right. Yeah. Here. It's all money, baby. You got
It's
March,
March
Madness coming.
Madness.
You're right.
So they said in the initial statement, it's not anything to do with March Madness. That was when I knew it's
and
March
everybody
Madness.
goes, smells like bullshit.
I smell some crap.
Yep.
But anyway, so our mask mandate is all of that crap. And then you go just a little bit, just into like the Carmel area.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
what is that? Hendricks County?
Depends on which county, because there's
2 counties up there.
right. There's 2
Yeah.
right there.
It's I think it's Hendricks County.
We'll
I'm
just
not
say
sure.
Hendricks. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter,
sure.
right.
Whatever.
No one in chat knows what we're talking
Whatever
about.
county that
Right.
is up there.
Yeah.
But they are just
Right.
they're like, our
Yep.
bars are gonna stay open until 3:30.
Yep.
You can have karaoke. Just use a Lysol spray. It
Yep.
kills 99% of bacteria. I'm like, well, this is a virus, so that's kind of dumb
Lysol
anyway.
does bacteria and viruses.
Does it?
Yes.
Does it kill 99.9% of
99.9%
viruses?
of viruses and bacteria.
Oh,
is what it
well, there
says.
you go.
Yeah.
So
That's
they're
their
using
labeling.
Lysol spray on microphones.
You know what
they're-
else does, and it's not labeled that way?
Hmm.
Pine Sol.
Do you know what else does? And it's not
Soap.
labeled that way either. It's just not being a dirty bird.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I mean, it
Streamer
literally-
tips part 2.
Oh,
this
here
is
we
the
go.
shower.
Take your shower.
Wash your nasty ass.
Yeah, wash your nuts. No, so here's so this is what I was gonna say about that. So when so 15 days to slow the spread happens, right? I'm down with it. The reason I'm down with it is because I don't want hospitals overloaded. That's the only thing driving my mentality behind that
Yeah.
whole thing. Is like, we don't want to overwhelm hospitals and doctors' offices with cases of people being
Yeah.
sick. Let's try to slow it down a little bit. And when they went to 30 days, because it was just climbing at that point, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, still cool. We know it's like a 10-day incubation period. I'm okay with it. Fast forward to 6 months in, and I'm like, all right, I gave you a month. I'd even be willing to give you 45 days. We're past that point now.
Yep.
It's time to open up, right?
Yep.
But well, here's what was happening. So our county, Marion County, had been
Yeah.
locked down. Well, Johnson County is just south, and that's where like Greenwood area is.
Yeah.
And so everything was still fine in Greenwood. So you know what everybody here was doing?
Going
They
to
weren't going
Greenwood.
to the businesses in Marion County.
Yeah.
They were just going down to Johnson County
Yeah.
because they didn't care. The risk was weighed by the constituents, and they deemed it as not that big of a deal.
Yep.
So they went to where they could go, and that's what happened. You know what? Indiana, for the first, the state of Indiana was like the 15th the 35th lowest state in cases. And then we kind of started to climb a little bit towards the November.
But I
stuff,
think
right?
what was our highest per capita was only like 9 or 12%.
Yeah, it was low, but our number of infections daily went from like where the rest of the country was seeing like 600 to 1,000 a day. We were seeing like 150, and then it just skyrocketed and went
Yeah.
up to like the 550, 600 to
Yeah.
where everybody else was. But once again, what I'm getting at is I
So
don't know
why
what would
is
have been. Well, right, yeah, and I don't know. I don't know all the science, and I don't know because that's not my job, right? I'm depending on people to inform me appropriately, but right now we can't even trust that. We don't know
Right.
who to trust,
And we can't.
we don't know what to trust because, like I was talking to you about before. So he's mad. We're everybody in chat. Try to remember this. 2 months from now, we want to go look at the data for rate of
I already
transmission.
put it in my phone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to make sure, and then we're going to talk about it, and we're going to say, okay, we're going to look at these 16 states, and we're going to see if they have some rapid rate
Yeah.
increase of COVID cases. And
And I
we'll-
don't
we'll
think
talk
they're
about it.
going to.
But here's the thing: is they're going to talk it
Because-
away. They're going to be like, "Well, there's immunizations now, and
Yeah.
it's summertime, and the rates were down last year in summertime, and they're going to have all these reasons why."
Yep.
And it's going to be like,
Which I have somebody that I'm very close with who got the Moderna vaccine
Mhm.
because he's about to have a surgery on his back again.
okay,
He's a veteran. And the VA won't do a surgery on you unless you have the vaccine.
dude, see, that's the stuff that terrifies me.
Yep.
That terrifies
Yeah.
me because, like, what if they tell you can't fly anymore? Like, well, you can't fly
You can't.
because you can't.
You actually can't. Unless you
See,
get a
that's-
vaccine, you can't fly.
See, so when I told my parents, I'm gonna throw chat for a loop.
But I
here.
got a car. So
Right, exactly. Like, I'll drive. That's fine. Yes, you. Right, but the thing is what if that goes further? What if businesses won't allow you in unless you have something on your body that shows that you've been vaccinated?
Oh God, are you getting like the market?
This is why I want to get my parents. I got my parents so good. I was like, maybe it's not a chip in your skin. Maybe it's the vaccine, and that's what they're gonna. But that's the thing. What if they start doing it? What if it gets to the point that they're like, you can't use our services unless you're vaccinated? And we're not talking about airplanes. We're talking about restaurants,
Yeah.
grocery stores. Like, if all of a sudden you're ostracized from society because you won't take a vaccine,
I would rather be ostracized from society. Honestly, I can
Right,
I can
yeah.
kill animals and grow my own vegetables.
Right, but my point
not care.
is that I don't think it'll get to that point because I think there'd be like an uprising. I think people would lose their minds at that point. But
I
what I'm
don't
getting at,
know. Honestly, with the propaganda machine that's out right now, Like,
You don't think that if it got to the point that they said you couldn't even get gas at a gas station?
you don't think that the propaganda machine that has pushed Joe Biden into presidency couldn't manipulate these fucking sheep of people
Okay, it's funny you say that, and
into thinking that it's okay.
I used to be very pessimistic based on what you're talking about right now, like thinking about him becoming president and stuff like that. Here's where the optimism is.
I'm not pessimistic, right? I'm realistic. Realistically, the man has Alzheimer's.
Right. Okay. Listen, what I'm getting at is that you're looking at it like you see it as they're sheeple and they were manipulated. I see it as they got one over, but no one's having it now. Because if you look, there was this thing that was showing this hilarious thing. All of their videos, like them going live on YouTube, President Biden, Kamala Harris, they have significantly more dislikes than they do likes on a video. And we're talking about in the numbers of like 53 likes and 50,000
but 80 million
dislikes.
votes.
Right. Right. But that's my point. So I think people are starting to get, there's a new wokeism happening right now. And I think it's going to take a while. No, a good woke. Like, I'm not saying the woke.
I just fucking hate that
I hate the
whole
term
statement.
woke. I hate the term woke. But I think that people are starting to wake up a little bit and be like, that's not jiving with my experiences. And it might be anecdotal, but I think that people are waking up to this.
P.S. You can get on the airplane, but the countries don't have to let you into them.
Okay, right. So what I'm
And
saying
the
is,
states
okay,
don't have
but
to
there's a
let you into
difference
them.
between like country laws and like Southwest being like, I'm not giving you service. Like the company itself saying, I'm not giving you service.
Right.
That's what I'm talking
So,
about.
rumor has it around the proverbial water cooler, the TikTok water cooler that is Mill
Right.
Talk.
Yep.
So I'm in with a lot of the military TikTok guys.
Right.
You know, I talk to them. Rumor has it that TSA not going to let you through security without your
Right. So that's what I'm getting
your
at.
card.
It's like that's where you start getting into real weird territories because now you're telling people you can't be a part of society unless you let us inject something into your body.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying I'm pro or against vaccines. I have vaccines. My children are vaccinated. Like,
Dude, I've had anthrax injected into me so many times.
Yeah, so I'm saying like there's different
Smallpox.
things. But like for instance, for me personally, I don't feel comfortable taking this vaccine.
No.
I don't feel like there's been enough time, so I'm waiting it out.
I
You give
would
it a
rather
year.
get corona, which I've already had COVID.
Right. So my family has antibodies too. So,
I would rather get it, right?
Right.
And take the like 4 or 5 or 7 pills or whatever.
What, of hydrochloroquine or whatever.
That is what happened with who's the Eli Lilly? They made it.
Yeah, the one that Donald Trump took.
Yeah.
That they said was what when Trump got COVID.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I gotta take this one.
No, you're fine. That's fine. No, you're good. So long story short, I'll just take this solo, everybody. What we're talking about is just this idea of I don't get it. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's just it's rough. Now, how are you guys doing down there? Right. So like, but vaccinated from like the big diseases. So like my kid is currently going to school and has been going to school ever since we had a little bit of a break in the winter. There was like a month period, but she was attending full time before that and after that. And the vaccine exists and they're not making the kids get vaccinated. So I think that, like, that's going to suck if they try to tell me that my kids can't go to school because then I will instantly be trying to find a private school that allows my kids to go to school. We chilling here in Texas. Yeah, but you guys are open now, right? And, like, I mean, honestly, you know, we have conversations. My wife and I have conversations about this all the time. Right, they don't make right with the virus, right? And so, yeah, it's viral because I don't think smallpox and are those viruses? We'd have to find out. If I when my wife and I talk about like not to sound morbid, but like the only thing anchoring me to the state of Indiana is the fact that my parents live here. I want to be close to my parents, so that they can have access to their grandchildren and hang out with them on a frequent basis, because I didn't get to hang out with my grandparents. I'm getting really personal about this, but that's what I wanted to do, right? My wife agrees and we're fine with it. We're on board because we're a team. We talk about in the future when that moment happens, we then have that freedom of choice. Where would we like to move? One of the things that is now going to be a factor and a criteria for me is going to be, how did each state handle this entire thing? And I've actually never really wanted to live in Texas. No offense to Texans. I actually have no problem with the state. I think the state itself is beautiful. I like the changes. I like all the, differences in climate and everything down there. But good Lord, I can't stand people with so much pride in the state. That's just me personally. I don't take pride in that kind of stuff. It's not my kind of thing. And also, but see, at the same time, I could argue that the way that they handled the snowstorm and the way that all went down would be something that would maybe dissuade me from living there, right? Now, I obviously would have had my own precautions going into it now, but had I moved before then, I wouldn't have probably been prepared for something like that. What I'm saying is that the way that states handle COVID is now something that I'm going to add into the criteria of, like, does it have legal cannabis? How did they handle the COVID situation? Like, I'm going to be looking at all of these other criteria that weren't really on the table, 10 years ago. And so when I look at this whole thing, I find Texas's response way more responsible than the state of Indiana that I live in now. So it's just one of those things, like, you just gotta, figure it all out and take it as you can. But I just don't, I don't, I don't have any other pines anyway. Either way. And I lost chat on my phone. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of cold weather like that, or of hot weather like that. I don't really like, I don't mind cold weather. Everything all right? Okay, good.
So speaking of bars, Board of Health just came into the bar that I work at. We're doing good. We're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was like one little.
But it wasn't about COVID.
Oh, it was an actual, like, are you keeping up cleaning standards? Yeah. So.
Anyway.
So, I mean, our bar passed. So if you're ever in Indianapolis and you want a really clean bar,
Yeah. Go hang out.
Yeah.
But basically, while you were gone, what I kind of talked about was, like, so my wife and I might move out of state at some point. Because
please don't.
I mean,
you're my only friend.
This is down the road stuff, right?
No, you're my only friend.
Okay, listen. So if my parents, like, the only thing keeping me anchored here is my parents, right? If my parents didn't live in this state, I would not live in this state.
I would put a GPS monitor on you.
So what we're talking about, though, is that when we are looking at states, one of the things that's now going to be a part of my criteria, as to like I'm never gonna live in California, dude.
Ever.
California's laws on ammunition, hunting, all that stuff is like, nope, right? Colorado's close because it has legal cannabis and their gun laws are okay, right? Like, they're not terrible, but they're not great.
Everybody's so high they don't know what gun laws are.
Right? Yeah. So, but you have those things, but when I'm looking at it, I'm now going to have to look through a lens of, how did they handle the pandemic?
Yeah.
Like, what did they do?
Yeah.
Were they super locked down? Like, once again, like Los Angeles. Dude, if you lived and continued to live in Los Angeles after March of last year, I have zero sympathy for you. Because and they're raising taxes again, and then people like Joe Rogan are getting out and stuff like that. And then did you see that they were trying to go after California's trying to go after people who have left and evacuated and tell them that they owe them 10 years of taxes, like back tax. They're trying to, like, get them to front the money that they lost by them leaving. Like, it's this whole thing. We'll have to talk about that next week in more detail. I'll try to find all this information. Yeah, they're trying to go after people like Joe Rogan because they're saying that the taxation system and the way that taxes work is it's like a pre-fronted amount that you're going to get the benefits from within 10 years. And so they're trying to go this whole tax code. Absolutely insane. It won't make it through the Supreme Court whenever it goes to that. But what I'm getting at is that's that state, dude. It's authoritarian. My whole thing is
I
not a fan.
don't-
I know, dude. You just.
I'll wait till
sometimes-
next week, but like
Sometimes you just gotta let stuff go like this. You know
I
what I'm saying?
can't. It went like a 22. It went in and then just rattled around real hard and then got lodged in the side over
Right.
here.
Yeah. So my point is that we're not even probably gonna have time. We might have a little time to talk about the history stuff, but
Stupid.
I know. But my point is that I'm gonna be looking at that kind of stuff. And so for me right now, the way that Texas is handling the mask mandate stuff is
Yeah.
to me much more respectable than the state of Indiana. Right.
Yeah.
And so
So also, one of my criteria for moving is not Florida.
right, yeah, right. So I went to Florida. I remember I told my wife, I was like, why don't we just like move up in like the pain? And then we were down there
That
and I was
shit's
like,
way worse.
I was like, nah, I'm good. I was
too
at
hot.
3 days. I was in Florida 3
Too
days.
hot.
I was like, nah, I'm good, dude. I'm good. I think that I could maybe get used to it if I only wore a Speedo.
Look, here's the thing though. Even Florida's hot, but you also have Florida Man.
Right. Yeah. No, dude, someone was in my chat during a stream. They were in Florida and he was like, I love my state. It literally never disappoints. He was like, while I'm watching your stream, I look out my window and a car on fire goes driving by. And then I hear a crash after 30 seconds. And then a woman is running after the car screaming with a shoe in her hand. And I'm like, dude, that is so crazy. He was like, I'm not making it up. And then he showed me the link. He linked me the article like 2 days later. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, it was her car.
This fire just
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it's just nuts. So anyway, yeah. So you look at these states and you say, okay, what am I? What are my criteria? And one of those things would be.
That's the second best car story from Florida I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
isn't that crazy, dude? Just like, but he wasn't saying like it was kind of on fire. He was
like full
a fireball with wheels.
Do you know what the
went down
best
road.
car story from Florida I've ever heard? It involves a cop car.
Okay.
So there's a guy walking down the median of the highway,
Okay.
naked.
Nice. Florida.
I-95,
Okay.
just in the
Yeah.
naked.
Uh-huh.
Cop pulls him over, or cop pulls
Right,
behind him.
pulls up
Just
behind him, right,
Pulls
yeah.
up behind him. He's like, "Hey, you know you're naked walking down the highway." Dude beats the fuck out of the cop, steals his car,
Oh my God.
turns on the lights, turns on the siren, fucking blazing down 95. Gets off the other side of the highway. Skirt. Because it's like these weird like
Right.
little mini micro hill things.
Yep.
Crashes through a fucking sign.
Oh my God.
Other cop cars are pulling up, like they're getting this dude.
Right.
They're trying to fight him out of a cop car
Uh-huh.
because he locked the doors. It's like a genius. Like, I mean,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So they've got to like bust out the windows. They're getting in there. He bites 5 cops. Bites them.
Yeah. This guy's.
So then he's got a hold of one cop and he's like starting to try and bite his neck, and another cop shoots him.
I mean, yeah, he's going for the jug, man. You
yeah,
don't know.
you're trying to kill somebody.
Right.
So now we've got 6 injured police officers
Right. From a naked man.
from a
who's-
naked man.
who's
Can you
told-
imagine trying to fight a naked dude inside a car?
I'm good, dude.
I don't want to do
I'm
that.
good.
So the toxicology report comes back. This dude is on crack cocaine, regular cocaine. So he's on crack, coke, meth,
Meth. Right. I was gonna say meth better be in that list.
Adderall, and acid.
Yeah, dude. He was.
He should have been dead.
Yeah. No, he was in another dimension, bro.
Right.
We didn't look like human beings to that
Right.
dude. We looked like aliens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was
So-
fighting thumbs.
right. Thumbs and salad fingers.
Right.
So okay.
Like,
So anyway,
Florida,
and
man.
that's in history, right?
And that's why I will never move back to Florida.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So we'll try to make this one a little bit quick because we could go on this one for a while, but
And that's going to be written in
it's gonna be
history.
written in history, right? So that's what we were talking about on the phone the other day. Is that? But at the same time, so I started trying to think about it. The only like pop culture reference I can remember in a book, like when I was in my history class
Yes.
and looking at like modern history, and by modern history I mean like within the past like 70 years,
Yeah.
was a picture of the Beatles. That was the only pop culture
Trash.
like right, yeah. We were the reason that this even came up was because he and I both agree that the Beatles is garbage.
Way overrated.
Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Do you know the only
Um,
thing that the Beatles have that's not overrated?
What?
Ringo Starr.
Right, like individuals in the Beatles, like each had their own merit.
No, the
but-
rest of them are super overrated.
So the reason that this came into existence, by the way this whole conversation evolved, was we were talking about how boy bands. I don't remember what it was, but we were talking about how the Beatles was kind of like the original
They were like the first
boy
NSYNC.
bands, right? They were like the first NSYNC, right?
Yeah.
And then NSYNC and stuff is like, is NSYNC going to be in the history books? And then we started going like, well, let's go even further. Is
Are we gonna have
Amaranth
books?
going to be in history books? Right. Well, yeah, and then books, right? We're talking about physical media.
Yeah.
But then we started talking about like actual, so like history is written by the victors is a common
Right.
quote
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you hear from people, right? But if you look back, like we don't have all of the stupid shit Woodrow Wilson said, right? We
Right.
just have his amazing quotes, right?
Right.
We don't have the quotes where he does the equivalent of Donald Trump shitter tweeting, right? So like we don't have those things because the books were written. But now, if you're a kid in school and someone's talking about President Trump, let's say like 15 years from now, that kid can go Google Donald Trump and then find his entire
or it would
archived
actually be
Twitter feed.
written in the book.
Right, or it would be written in the book. Right.
Like
yeah.
on this day,
Donald Trump
Donald Trump tweeted out
Kofefe. This actually happened, right? And so my point is, I've started.
I forgot he tweeted that.
Right, yeah. So my point is, I'm starting to look at everything now through that lens.
But salad fingers is gonna be in a history
Correct,
book.
right? And it's
If you've
kind
not
of,
seen salad fingers, it's the greatest thing on the
it's
internet.
the
You should
creepiest,
Google it.
weirdest thing.
No,
but it
it's
is
the
also great.
greatest thing you'll ever watch.
Yes. So my point is that when you're
Shh, don't
looking
tell
at
them.
things, when you and also things that you tweet or do on TikTok could, in theory,
End up in
be
history books.
historical, even though it's not history anymore.
Yeah.
Or real like relevant. To, like so that was what I was starting to think about. What do I label as like a historical event? Is it historical that we just landed another craft on Mars?
Yes.
Is it though? Or is it
Yes.
kind of more like
It really is, because it's the first craft to land on Mars with a 4K camera on it,
right? But that's
where
what
we
I'm
can
saying.
actually get good footage of Mars.
Right. But like, do
And
I
it's-
really care?
I care.
I mean, I'm glad that you care. I don't, because like
It's amazing, dude.
it is cool, and it's cool to see the other planets.
because
I'm not
we
saying it's not.
also well think about what else happened with that rocket, right? So with that rocket, they had a life support system built on it.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's
They
no
were
life.
testing it, right?
We
They
were testing
if
a
it
life
would
support
stay
system.
active the entire
and it
trip and stuff
did.
like that. Right? Yeah. So there's good stuff that comes out.
That's
of it.
historical.
I agree. That is. But it's just one of those things that like everything in that context. So technically, you could make a TikTok where you put your pee-pee in your butt and you have it behind a curtain, and then everybody goes nuts, and then you become famous, and then because you're a famous person, someone's like, "Oh, look, Mac became famous as a influencer on a social media app in the year 2021 because he put his pee-pee in his butthole behind a curtain." Like, that's the craziest thing.
Super weird.
It's the craziest thing that could happen, but it's literally something that could happen.
Yeah.
So like we need to
Or like Rhett and Link will be in a history book.
yeah, that was actually one of our big references. It's like Good Mythical Morning, to me, is an epitome of. So we were talking about the ages. See, that's what I'm saying. This conversation went everywhere. So we were talking about how like there was the radio era,
Yeah.
then there was the TV era,
Yep.
and the TV era lasted
For a
really
while.
long time.
Yeah.
So what we end up saying, like basically 70 years, 40s to
Pretty much,
2010.
yeah.
So you have 70 years of television, and now we're in this new
Digital
era
age.
of this digital age
Yeah.
where there are things that went from radio to TV, like things that
Well,
transferred
here,
and
let's
translated.
ask chat. Can we get 1 1s or 2 2s in chat? 1 1s if you do remember when Netflix was a DVD service. 2 2s if you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. So give us some ones, hopefully. Yeah. And so, I just saw what they said about him being in the fifth dimension.
Bro.
Right. So, and here's the thing is like when Netflix was doing that, my wife
Yeah.
all of a sudden was like, "Hey, I have a smart idea." And then we went to the library, and the library in the state of Indiana, like
They have all kinds
they
of
have
DVDs.
all the DVDs, and you could order them to your local library, and then you could go get it, and then you could get it for 7 days, and then you just go return it, and then you were good.
Yeah.
So we were renting brand new movies for
Yeah.
free from the library and going and getting them back then, and we were cool because we were able to see all these movies
Yep.
at the same rate that people with Netflix.
I don't know that
were.
you were cool, but
Well, right.
yeah.
What I'm saying is people are like, wow, you've already watched that movie? How do you guys have so much money for all that? And we're like, we don't. We just go to the library. And then they're
Right.
like, what? Right. But that was Netflix. And that was like 14.
I remember when libraries had cassette tapes.
Oh, yeah. No, same here. Our library used to charge to take cassettes out, though. Like cassettes and VHS, it was like 25 cents for it. It was like actually like a rental thing for us.
I
Because
think it was like 15 cents or something like that.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So it just depends. The VHSs were 25. I don't know what they were on cassettes.
I never got VHSs because I owned them all already.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so that's a whole different thing. We go to that. But my point is, so we were talking about like there's these ages that are moving through, and there's these things that transferred. So like from radio, there were certain practices and ideals that
Yeah.
transferred into TV, and then from TV to the digital internet age.
You do have a face for radio, though.
Anyway, so yeah, because I always forget that radio broadcasting is all but gone. Honestly, it's almost there.
I don't know. There's still. If
But
you
it's
look
not
at
local anymore. So like X103, our local thing is
It's-
now a nationally syndicated radio broadcast.
but it's local here.
Right. They exist here, but their market isn't just the Indianapolis market.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like they're
So
now
like the
a
Smiley morning show though, that's just
Right,
the
I
Indianapolis
listen to
market.
Smiley,
I love
right, yeah,
Smiley.
I like Smiley. Smiley's pretty good. But like for instance, and see like other ones were like Bob and Tom. Bob and Tom was so huge here that it blew up, and then they
Yeah.
syndicated through partner stations around the United States.
Yep.
But it was Q95, Indianapolis. The content would be
Yep.
national news, but when they would talk stuff, it would be local stuff sometimes.
Yep.
So anyway, what I'm getting at is there's changes that have happened, but when you look at history, man, like so much is going to change. And we were talking about stuff like Amaranth, who, I'm sorry, shots are about to be fired. Calm your tits, people.
Speaking of tits,
Tits,
Amaranth.
exactly. And this is an opinion. This is my opinion. When Amaranth is playing video games, which is the majority of the content I consume when I am on Twitch,
Yeah.
it is trash.
Yes.
But if I want to look at a beautiful female body, she has great content when it's not about gaming. So
Yeah,
my point
yeah.
is that she could get famous and be on a platform that arguably is about video games. And then, but in the history books, that's not where her fame is coming from. It's
No.
not from her video game play. Now, Tyler Blevins, obviously it's going to come from his video game play, right? Like his fame and Ninja's fame comes from...
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that when they notate Ninja or Mr. Blevins in the history books,
Yeah.
they're gonna give him one quote, right?
Oh, they'll probably choose the worst
Get
one.
shit on, kid.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is those are the things that are literally going to be in history books.
Because okay, so that was never really a statement. Like Modern Warfare 2, I've played a lot of video games, Halo 3.
Right.
That statement, get shit on, never once popped into anybody's head until Ninja said it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's everybody, get shit on, kid.
Right. Yep. He created a phrase, right?
He
And
created a phrase.
that's
And it's
ins-
hilarious,
Oh yeah.
but also goes completely against his branding.
Right. Yeah. It was like the kid friendly, you know.
Right.
So I what I guess I'm saying is that I feel very odd right now
Hoo-hoo.
looking at everything through a historic lens of the future. So that's what I was calling it. And he was like, that statement made my head want to explode. As I was like, today is the future's history. And so like,
Bro,
so
shut up.
it's, but it's so funny when you think about it. Today is the future's history. And people are going to be,
It's
look,
the present.
but it's
today
also
is the
future-
present.
But it's also the future history.
Shut the fuck up.
Chat, am I wrong?
Look. I know you've smoked a lot of weed.
Oh, I have, for sure. In fact, one of my
Fuck
biggest
up.
fears is when I meet people and I see people and I forget their names from like high school, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, hey, James," and I'm like, "Look, I smoked way too much weed. I remember your face and I remember all the fun times we had. I don't remember you at all, or I don't remember your name at all. But I remember all the stuff we did. I just don't remember the, you know. But occasionally there are people that I remember. But yeah, no, that actually literally happened the other day. So
I just roll with it. They're like, hey, I'm like, hey, buddy, what's up?
yeah, right. But they were like, she introduced me to her husband. I remembered her name, just for the record. I remembered her name, but she was like, "Oh, this is James. We went to high school together." I was like, "Hey, babe, this is Kim," and it was like, when I said Kim though, I was like, "This is Kim." Like I couldn't remember, but I went for it. Like I went for it.
See, I just
then-
go all in. Like,
Right, it's
I
Kim,
will
right.
convince you that your
Yeah,
name is
yeah.
Brian.
Right? Yeah. She's like, "No, my name is Lisa," and I'm like, "Well, I called you Kim, so You responded to Kim when we were in high school. Yeah, that's what. But no, so that's what I'm saying is I don't anyway. But yeah,
Just say it's so convincing that even they believe it.
right. Yeah. But no. Anyway, so with that said, be careful what you're doing on the internet. And that's the other thing too is that we didn't have that when we were teenagers. We did a lot of stupid shit on the internet. It's all gone because GeoCities and Angel Fire don't exist anymore.
Bro.
But you know what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff is
And also, a lot of stupid shit we did as kids didn't get recorded.
right. But now it is because
Yeah.
everybody has a camera.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
And watching kids fall down is still the funniest thing on the planet.
Yeah, it is pretty
Even
funny.
if they get hurt, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's pretty funny. I mean, I remember a video that was viral on YouTube when YouTube had a gray background. And it was literally like a Google web page. It was just YouTube in a search box.
Yeah.
And it was just a picture or a video of a penguin. And he's like standing
He
there.
just fell
and
over.
another penguin walks in front of him and he goes, "Ah," and then it knocks it into the water. And that was the whole video. It was like the
Dude.
original Vine, right?
So on TikTok,
Yeah.
and this happened on TikTok, one of the most viral videos that went crazy on TikTok was somebody stood a waffle up and let it fall over.
I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to get in touch
It's
with this
just
generation.
a waffle on a table,
Uh-huh.
and it just
Cool.
Dude, it's got like 70 million
Oh
views.
my god. Oh my god. And that's the thing is like then when I don't go viral on any of my videos, I go, yeah, I can't compete with that.
It's a waffle.
Yeah. I can't compete with a waffle falling down. That's awesome. I'm gonna go find that video and I'm gonna make a TikTok about that. I'm literally just gonna have to go and go, yeah, I can't compete with that. So anyway, chat, you guys, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm sure Mac does too.
I don't.
Oh, well.
I'm kidding. I love y'all.
Yeah,
You
we love
know
y'all.
that.
Thanks for being here. I think it was fun. We'll try and get some content out into YouTube. We'll
Nope.
splice this all out.
No content.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
making content anymore.
Oh, right. Yes, we're just talking. But we'll also probably, Mac had talked about opening a TikTok for the
For the show.
show. So
Yeah.
you guys can do that. And then hopefully we can, get some conversations going and hopefully get some visibility about this and get better conversations with
Yeah.
chat going.
Yeah.
And we're still working on the format, but appreciate
What
you guys
were we
being
going to
here.
talk about next week? I forgot.
Let me make the TikTok face. I'm loving it. Have you seen those ones where the guy's doing like the Naruto Shippuden stuff, and then he like gets behind him and grabs his ass, and then he turns around, looks at him, and he goes, and then he goes, and then the other guy's grabbing his ass, and goes. It's just so good, man. I love it, man. Those videos.
So stupid.
It's so dumb, but it's just like anyway. All right, chat. Thanks again. We're gonna walk up and close it out. Hopefully, do you guys think real quick on the YouTube? Go to the
And
YouTube.
on the Twitch.
On the YouTube page, go to this video and comment and at least tell us if you think that the quality of the video and audio
Is
was
better.
better. So that way, at least we're getting
Comments.
comments on our YouTube page and tell us what you thought of it. And then next week, hopefully, we'll have it set up where we'll have the quote unquote TV right here so that
Yeah.
you guys can see what we're looking at on a laptop and have that.
Or
content back up.
also on the YouTube comments, if you find a topic
right.
throughout the week,
Yes.
post it on as a comment underneath this video on YouTube.
Yeah, like next week, can you guys talk
and
about
we can talk about whatever you guys want us to talk
Right.
about.
We'll look at the comments on the previous video and then they'll give us something to talk
Yeah,
about.
yes. Yes,
is
I
this?
talked to a doctor. He said commenting on YouTube is the best ever.
Yeah. Oh God. Is that Trump? All right.
He did. He did. He said commenting on YouTube is great strategy.
Before Bush, wall. After Bush, no wall.
Anyway. Aye. All right. See you guys. Thanks.
Bye. See you next Tuesday.